Well, I'm really learning new features on the new Pulse app 2.4, and I'm really liking it a lot. Let me show you in terms of the UI what you have here on the user preferences. There is this theme option, and you can actually select dark gray, and this matches the new UI. In fact, I'm gonna show you something more in here, but and I did a video out of this in the channel about the new UI, but this matches that type of look and feel, which I like more than the traditional Pulse one. But let me actually show you something interesting that I noticed. Let me revert back to the traditional UI, right? And if I'm here and I'm looking, for example, at an offense, you see that I get the traditional view of an offense, right? But if I go into the new UI, and I look into Pulse from here, from the hamburger, I go to Pulse, and this is the same dashboard, but I'm coming from the new UI. So if I look at an offense from here, it is clever enough to maintain the new UI. While if, as you saw before, when we are coming from the traditional UI, then the traditional view is maintained. Pretty clever. Another thing that I noticed, unfortunately I cannot show it to you because I already updated, is that when I look in here, in the offense overview, there was a button here, update available, and when I click on it, I click in an option that says update, and then the default dashboards that are included in Pulse, when they get updated, it automatically tells you there for you to get the latest version. So again, if you see an update available here, simply click in it, and it will be very intuitive to get it up to date. Another thing that I like a lot is that when you click in any one of the widgets, in the previous version there were a bunch of icons in here, and they were actually not easy to determine what they were about. Now you only have zoom in, zoom out, the edit, and then all those other options, boom, are here. I'm going to pause the video to get it from my previous videos how this used to look like, so you get an appreciation of what I'm talking about. So here is a screenshot of what this section used to look like. You remember all those buttons? Now they changed and reduced them, so we only have zoom in, zoom out, and edit, and all these other things are in the pull down menu in here. So much nicer and cleaner way to traverse and exploit the feature of these widgets. Also remember that in this is the icons for the entire dashboard. These are for the widget. In here you have the option to set a particular dashboard as the default, so every time that you go into Pulse, that's the one you'll see. I also like, as we saw before, that there is a gear icon for modifying the whole dashboard and a gear icon for modifying the individual widgets. When you click here on edit, you can actually modify that one. Perhaps a better way of showing that is that this is the dashboard gear for modifying it, and when you click in it, you can go into the specific widget that you may want to select and clear in the individual gear, and that's another way to get to the edit button. So let me I like the dark view much better, so let me switch to it. Another thing that you can also do is that if this is a bar that changes in color based on the magnitude, and so this primitive you can actually change it instead of that bar. Let me see if I figure this out. You can change it to shapes. clicking here on thresholds, what we have is the color with the actual bar. But if we click on that twisty and add a new threshold indicator, and we select shape, it's going to be magnitude, the same as before, and we enter a value here. Let's put 5, and let's put 3 for the actual range. If we scroll down, we actually see it here, right? So between 3 and 5 is going to be a triangle, between above 5 is going to be a square, and below is going to be a circle. So if I click here save, and obviously this is refreshing because of the changes I made, the bar should be changed, yep, for those shapes. That's a nice feature there. One more thing is that if you are creating a new dashboard and you are adding, let's do a blank dashboard, and then if you add the widgets, let me put a name, I'm going to call this test. We click next, we go to choose widget. When you add, let's add this widget. Okay, let's add another one. Let's save that one. Let's add, yes, I'm adding another one, and click here save, and click here create. Now the widgets, as you add them, and I added the same thing here, is in a 2x2, but before it was this one and then the other ones were below. So this is a kind of a nicer way of adding that. Well, I'm not interested in keeping this particular dashboard. That's what you're showing when you create a new one. But again, the navigation is much nicer. It's more streamlined. The consistency of this icon for the widget as well as for the dashboard, same thing with the gear. I think the navigation has made it a lot easier to create new dashboards, leveraging what else has already been created by others. In the next video, I'm going to show something that I think it's going to be very interesting, which is the capability from a Pulse dashboard to invoke APIs of Curator itself as well as other external apps.